In our daily lives, we inevitably encounter individuals who challenge our patience and test our emotional resilience. These difficult people can be found in various spheres of life, including family, work, and social circles. While it is a common human experience to face such challenges, the way we respond to them can significantly impact our mental and emotional well-being. Buddhism offers a profound and compassionate approach to dealing with difficult people, rooted in its core teachings and practices. By understanding and applying these principles, we can transform our interactions and cultivate a sense of inner peace and harmony. Buddhism teaches that the external world is often a reflection of our internal state. Therefore, dealing with difficult people is not just about managing external conflicts, but also about addressing our own inner turmoil. The teachings of the Buddha provide us with tools to navigate these challenging interactions with wisdom and compassion. Central to this approach is the understanding of suffering, dukkha, the cultivation of compassion, karuna, and the practice of mindfulness, sati. By integrating these elements into our lives, we can develop a more balanced and empathetic perspective towards those who test our patience. This exploration into the Buddhist approach to dealing with difficult people will delve into various aspects of Buddhist philosophy and practice. From understanding the nature of suffering to applying the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path in conflict resolution, each section will offer insights and practical guidance. We will also examine real-life examples from Buddhist teachings and provide meditative exercises to help you cultivate patience, tolerance, and loving-kindness, metta. Ultimately, this journey aims to equip you with the wisdom and tools necessary to transform your relationships and foster a more compassionate world. In Buddhism, understanding difficult people begins with recognizing the fundamental nature of human existence and the interconnectedness of all beings. Buddhism teaches that every individual is subject to the same universal truths, such as impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. Difficult people are often those who are caught in the cycle of suffering and ignorance, unable to see beyond their own desires, fears, and attachments. This lack of awareness can manifest as anger, jealousy, or other negative behaviors that make interactions challenging. From a Buddhist perspective, difficult people are not inherently bad or evil. Rather, they are individuals who are struggling with their own inner turmoil. Their actions and attitudes are often a reflection of their internal suffering and confusion. By understanding this, we can begin to cultivate a sense of empathy and compassion towards them. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, we can approach them with a mindset that seeks to understand the root causes of their behavior. Buddhism also emphasizes the concept of karma, which suggests that our actions have consequences that shape our future experiences. Difficult people may be acting out patterns established by past actions and conditions. Recognizing this can help us see them not as adversaries but as fellow beings on their own karmic journeys. This understanding encourages us to respond with patience and kindness rather than judgment. Furthermore, Buddhism teaches that everyone has the potential for enlightenment and transformation. Even those who seem most difficult have within them the seeds of wisdom and compassion. By holding this view, we can maintain hope and positivity in our interactions with them. Our own practice of mindfulness and ethical conduct can serve as a model and potentially inspire change in others. In summary, understanding difficult people in the context of Buddhism involves seeing beyond their immediate behaviors to the underlying causes rooted in suffering and ignorance. It calls for an empathetic approach that recognizes our shared human condition and the potential for growth and transformation in every individual. In Buddhism, the concept of dukkha, often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness, is a fundamental aspect of human existence. Dukkha encompasses the various forms of suffering that individuals experience, ranging from physical pain and emotional distress to the more subtle sense of dissatisfaction that pervades life. This concept is central to the Buddha's teachings and is one of the Four Noble Truths which form the foundation of Buddhist philosophy. Understanding dukkha is crucial when dealing with difficult people because it provides insight into the nature of human behavior and relationships. According to Buddhist teachings, all beings experience dukkha due to their attachment to desires and aversions. When interacting with challenging individuals, recognizing that they too are subject to suffering can foster a sense of empathy and compassion. This perspective helps in seeing beyond their difficult behavior to the underlying causes of their actions, which are often rooted in their own experiences of pain and dissatisfaction. Moreover, acknowledging the presence of dukkha in our own lives allows us to approach difficult situations with greater equanimity. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we can cultivate a mindful awareness of our own responses and recognize them as manifestations of our own suffering. This self-awareness can lead to more skillful and compassionate interactions, reducing the likelihood of escalating conflicts. The relevance of dukkha extends to understanding that difficult people are not inherently bad or malicious. Rather, they are individuals struggling with their own forms of suffering. By embracing this perspective, we can shift our focus from judgment and blame to understanding and support. This shift not only benefits our relationships, but also contributes to our own spiritual growth by encouraging us to practice patience, tolerance, and loving kindness. In essence, the concept of dukkha serves as a reminder that suffering is a universal experience that connects all beings. By recognizing this shared aspect of existence, we can approach difficult people with a sense of compassion and a commitment to alleviating suffering for ourselves and others. This approach aligns with the core principles of Buddhism and offers a path towards more harmonious and fulfilling relationships. In Buddhism, compassion, or karuna, is a fundamental quality that plays a crucial role in dealing with difficult people. Compassion is the deep awareness of the suffering of others, coupled with the wish to alleviate it. When faced with challenging individuals, it is essential to recognize that their behavior often stems from their own suffering and inner turmoil. By cultivating compassion, we can transform our perspective and approach these individuals with a sense of empathy and understanding rather than frustration or anger. Compassion allows us to see beyond the surface-level actions and words of difficult people and to understand the underlying causes of their behavior. This shift in perception can help us respond more skillfully and with greater patience. Instead of reacting impulsively or defensively, we can pause and consider what might be driving the other person's actions. This mindful approach not only helps in de-escalating conflicts, but also fosters a more harmonious and supportive environment. Moreover, practicing compassion towards difficult people does not mean condoning harmful behavior or allowing oneself to be mistreated. It involves setting healthy boundaries while maintaining a compassionate attitude. By doing so, we protect our own well-being while also offering the other person an opportunity for growth and transformation. Compassionate action can include gentle but firm communication, offering support when appropriate, and encouraging positive change. In Buddhist teachings, the practice of compassion is often linked with wisdom, prajna. Wisdom helps us discern the most skillful means to express our compassion in any given situation. It guides us to act in ways that are truly beneficial for both ourselves and others. For instance, sometimes the most compassionate response may involve stepping back from a toxic relationship to allow space for healing. Ultimately, cultivating compassion towards difficult people is a profound practice that enriches our own spiritual journey. It helps us develop qualities such as patience, tolerance, and equanimity. As we grow in compassion, we become more resilient in the face of adversity and better equipped to contribute positively to the lives of those around us. Through this practice, we embody the essence of Buddhist teachings and move closer to realizing a state of inner peace and harmony. Practicing loving kindness, or metta, towards challenging individuals is a fundamental aspect of Buddhist practice that encourages the cultivation of unconditional love and benevolence. Metta is one of the 4 Brahmaviharas, or sublime states, which are essential for achieving a harmonious and compassionate life. When dealing with difficult people, it is easy to fall into patterns of anger, resentment, or frustration. However, Buddhism teaches that these negative emotions only serve to perpetuate our own suffering and hinder our spiritual growth. To practice metta towards challenging individuals, one must first develop a deep sense of empathy and understanding. This involves recognizing that everyone, including those who cause us distress, is subject to their own struggles and suffering. By acknowledging their humanity and the conditions that may have led them to act in harmful ways, we can begin to soften our hearts and extend compassion towards them. This does not mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather seeing beyond it to the inherent worth of the individual. A practical way to cultivate metta is through meditation. During metta meditation, one typically begins by generating feelings of loving kindness towards oneself, as self-compassion is the foundation for extending compassion to others. Gradually, these feelings are extended outward to loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and finally to those who are difficult or hostile. The practice involves silently repeating phrases such as, "May you be happy," "May you be healthy," "May you be safe," and "May you live with ease." By consistently practicing these affirmations, we train our minds to respond with kindness rather than aversion. Another important aspect of practicing metta is mindfulness in daily interactions. When confronted with difficult behavior, taking a moment to pause and breathe can prevent reactive responses. This mindful pause allows us to choose a more compassionate reaction rather than being driven by automatic negative emotions. It also provides an opportunity to reflect on the interconnectedness of all beings and the impact of our actions on others. Furthermore, practicing metta involves setting intentions for positive interactions. Before engaging with someone known to be challenging, setting an intention to remain calm, kind, and understanding can help guide our behavior. This proactive approach can transform potentially negative encounters into opportunities for growth and connection. In essence, practicing loving kindness towards challenging individuals is about transforming our own hearts and minds. It requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to look beyond surface-level conflicts to the deeper truths of human experience. By cultivating metta, we not only improve our relationships with others, but also foster inner peace and resilience in the face of adversity. Through this practice, we embody the core Buddhist principles of compassion and non-harm, contributing to a more harmonious world for all beings. Mindfulness, or sati in Pali, is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice and plays a crucial role in navigating interpersonal relationships. In the context of dealing with difficult people, mindfulness allows us to remain present and fully aware of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. By cultivating this heightened state of awareness, we can observe our automatic responses to challenging interactions without becoming entangled in them. This detachment enables us to respond more skillfully rather than react impulsively. When we practice mindfulness, we create a mental space that allows us to pause before responding. This pause is invaluable in preventing the escalation of conflicts and misunderstandings. It gives us the opportunity to choose our words and actions carefully, ensuring they are aligned with our values and intentions, rather than driven by momentary anger or frustration. Mindfulness helps us recognize the triggers that make certain individuals seem difficult and allows us to address these triggers with greater clarity and calmness. Moreover, mindfulness fosters empathy and understanding. By being fully present during interactions, we can listen more deeply and see beyond the surface behaviors of others. We become more attuned to their underlying needs, fears, and motivations. This deeper understanding can transform our perception of difficult people, enabling us to approach them with greater compassion and patience. In addition, mindfulness helps us manage our own emotional responses. Difficult interactions often stir up strong emotions such as anger, resentment, or hurt. Through mindful awareness, we can observe these emotions as they arise without being overwhelmed by them. This observation helps us maintain emotional equilibrium and prevents negative emotions from dictating our behavior. Practicing mindfulness also encourages self-reflection. It prompts us to examine our own role in interpersonal dynamics and recognize any patterns or habits that contribute to difficulties. This self-awareness is essential for personal growth and for fostering healthier relationships. In summary, mindfulness is a powerful tool for enhancing interpersonal relationships, especially when dealing with difficult people. It allows us to remain present, respond thoughtfully, cultivate empathy, manage our emotions, and engage in self-reflection. By integrating mindfulness into our daily interactions, we can navigate challenges with greater ease and foster more harmonious connections with others. The Four Noble Truths form the cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy and offer profound insights into the nature of suffering and the path to its cessation. When applied to conflict resolution, these truths provide a structured approach to understanding and addressing interpersonal difficulties. The first noble truth, the truth of suffering, dukkha, acknowledges that conflict and difficult relationships are inherent aspects of human existence. Recognizing this truth allows us to accept that encountering challenging individuals is a natural part of life, rather than an anomaly or personal failing. The second noble truth identifies the origin of suffering, which in the context of conflict often stems from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Attachment can manifest as clinging to our own viewpoints or desires, while aversion may appear as hostility or resentment towards others. Ignorance involves a lack of understanding about the true nature of ourselves and others. By identifying these root causes, we can begin to see how our own mental states contribute to conflicts and take responsibility for our role in perpetuating them. The third noble truth offers hope by asserting that the cessation of suffering is possible. In terms of conflict resolution, this means that harmonious relationships can be achieved by addressing the underlying causes of discord. This cessation is not about eliminating difficult people from our lives, but transforming our responses to them. By cultivating qualities such as empathy, patience, and understanding, we can reduce the intensity and frequency of conflicts. The fourth noble truth outlines the path leading to the cessation of suffering, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. This path provides practical guidelines for ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. In resolving conflicts, elements such as right speech encourage us to communicate truthfully and kindly, while right effort involves cultivating positive states of mind and abandoning negative ones. Right mindfulness helps us stay present and aware during interactions, reducing reactive behavior, and right concentration aids in maintaining focus on constructive solutions rather than dwelling on grievances. By applying the Four Noble Truths to conflict resolution, we gain a comprehensive framework for understanding the nature of interpersonal difficulties and practical steps for addressing them. This approach not only helps in resolving specific conflicts, but also contributes to our overall spiritual growth by fostering greater compassion, wisdom, and inner peace. The Eightfold Path, a core teaching in Buddhism, serves as a comprehensive guide for leading a life of ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. When applied to interpersonal relationships, it offers profound insights and practical steps for fostering harmonious interactions. The path consists of 8 interconnected practices: right understanding, right intent, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each of these elements can be directly applied to how we engage with others, particularly when dealing with difficult people. Right understanding involves seeing things as they truly are and recognizing the nature of reality, including the impermanence and interconnectedness of all beings. By cultivating this understanding, we can approach difficult individuals with greater empathy and less judgment, acknowledging that their behavior may be influenced by their own suffering and circumstances. Right intent focuses on cultivating wholesome intentions such as kindness, compassion, and non-harming. When our intentions are rooted in these positive qualities, our interactions are more likely to be constructive and less reactive. This helps in creating a foundation of goodwill, even in challenging situations. Right speech emphasizes the importance of speaking truthfully, kindly, and beneficially. In dealing with difficult people, practicing right speech means avoiding harsh words, gossip, or deceit. Instead, we strive to communicate in ways that promote understanding and reconciliation. Right action involves behaving ethically and responsibly towards others. This includes refraining from actions that cause harm and actively engaging in behaviors that support the well-being of others. By embodying right action, we set an example of integrity and respect that can influence even the most challenging relationships. Right livelihood encourages us to engage in work that is ethical and does not cause harm to others. While this principle primarily pertains to our professional lives, it also extends to how we contribute to our communities and interact with those around us. By ensuring our livelihood aligns with our values, we create a ripple effect of positive influence. Right effort is about diligently cultivating positive states of mind while preventing negative ones from arising. In the context of difficult interactions, this means making a conscious effort to remain patient and composed rather than allowing frustration or anger to take over. Right mindfulness involves being fully present and aware in each moment. Practicing mindfulness helps us to observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. This awareness allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively when faced with difficult people. Right concentration refers to developing deep focus and mental clarity through meditation practices. By cultivating concentration, we enhance our ability to remain calm and centered during challenging interactions. This inner stability enables us to navigate conflicts with greater ease and effectiveness. By integrating the principles of the Eightfold Path into our daily lives, we can transform our interactions with difficult people into opportunities for growth and understanding. Each step of the path provides practical tools for maintaining harmony and fostering positive relationships, ultimately contributing to a more compassionate and peaceful world. In the Buddhist tradition, patience, or khanti, is considered one of the essential perfections, paramitas, that a practitioner must cultivate on the path to enlightenment. Patience is not merely the ability to wait, but encompasses a broader spectrum of tolerance and endurance in the face of adversity. When dealing with difficult people, patience becomes a vital tool that allows us to maintain our inner peace and composure, even when confronted with challenging behaviors or situations. Patience in Buddhism is often described as the antidote to anger and frustration. When we encounter difficult individuals, our immediate reaction might be one of irritation or resentment. However, by practicing khanti, we learn to pause and observe our emotional responses without immediately acting on them. This pause creates a space where we can choose a more skillful response rather than reacting impulsively. It allows us to see the situation more clearly and understand that the other person's behavior may be driven by their own suffering and ignorance. Tolerance, closely related to patience, involves accepting others as they are without trying to change them or wishing they were different. This acceptance does not mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather recognizing that everyone is on their own path and has their own struggles. By cultivating tolerance, we develop a sense of empathy and compassion for others, understanding that their actions are often a reflection of their inner turmoil. The practice of patience also involves enduring hardships without becoming disheartened. In our interactions with difficult people, we may face repeated challenges and provocations. Khanti teaches us to endure these difficulties with a calm and steady mind, knowing that our efforts to remain patient are part of our spiritual growth. This endurance is not passive, but an active engagement in maintaining our equanimity and compassion despite external circumstances. In practical terms, developing patience requires mindfulness and self-awareness. We need to be aware of our triggers and habitual reactions to difficult people. By observing these patterns, we can begin to change our responses consciously. Meditation practices focused on patience can also be beneficial. For example, reflecting on the impermanent nature of all things can help us realize that the difficulties we face are temporary and will pass. Moreover, patience is supported by other Buddhist practices such as loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna. When we actively cultivate love and compassion for others, it becomes easier to be patient with them. We see them not as obstacles or sources of frustration, but as fellow beings deserving of understanding and kindness. In summary, the practice of patience, khanti, and tolerance in Buddhism is about cultivating a calm and compassionate mind in the face of adversity. It involves understanding our own reactions, accepting others as they are, enduring hardships with equanimity, and supporting these efforts with mindfulness and loving-kindness practices. Through this cultivation, we can transform our interactions with difficult people into opportunities for spiritual growth and deeper connection. In the Buddhist tradition, non-attachment, or upadana, is a fundamental principle that plays a crucial role in dealing with difficult people and letting go of negative emotions. Non-attachment does not mean indifference or apathy. Rather, it involves a deep understanding and acceptance of the impermanent nature of all things. By recognizing that everything is transient and ever-changing, we can begin to release our grip on the negative emotions that arise when we encounter challenging individuals. Negative emotions such as anger, resentment, and frustration often stem from our attachment to certain expectations and outcomes. When someone behaves in a way that contradicts our desires or beliefs, we may feel personally affronted or hurt. However, by practicing non-attachment, we learn to observe these emotions without becoming entangled in them. This detachment allows us to respond to difficult situations with greater clarity and equanimity. One practical approach to cultivating non-attachment is through mindfulness meditation. By regularly observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, we can become more aware of the transient nature of our emotional states. This awareness helps us to see that negative emotions are not inherent parts of our being, but temporary experiences that will pass. As we develop this insight, we can begin to let go of the need to control or cling to specific outcomes in our interactions with others. Another important aspect of non-attachment is the practice of self-compassion. Often, our negative reactions to difficult people are exacerbated by harsh self-criticism and unrealistic expectations of ourselves. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we can reduce the intensity of these negative emotions and create a more compassionate inner environment. This self-compassion naturally extends outward, allowing us to approach others with greater patience and empathy. In addition to mindfulness and self-compassion, the teachings of the Buddha emphasize the importance of wisdom, prajna, in overcoming attachment. Wisdom involves seeing things as they truly are, free from the distortions of ego and desire. By cultivating wisdom through study, reflection, and meditation, we can gain a deeper understanding of the causes and conditions that give rise to difficult behaviors in others. This understanding helps us to respond with greater compassion and less reactivity. Ultimately, non-attachment is about finding freedom from the suffering caused by clinging to negative emotions and rigid expectations. It is a practice that requires ongoing effort and dedication, but offers profound rewards in terms of inner peace and harmonious relationships. By letting go of our attachments and embracing the impermanent nature of life, we can navigate our interactions with difficult people with grace and equanimity. In the teachings of Buddhism, right speech, samavaka, is one of the components of the Noble Eightfold Path, which serves as a guide for ethical and mindful living. Right speech emphasizes the importance of using words that are truthful, harmonious, gentle, and purposeful. When dealing with difficult people, the practice of right speech becomes particularly significant, as it can transform potentially contentious interactions into opportunities for understanding and compassion. Right speech involves abstaining from lying, divisive speech, harsh words, and idle chatter. By committing to honesty, we build trust and integrity in our relationships. When faced with difficult individuals, speaking truthfully helps to clear misunderstandings and fosters a foundation of mutual respect. However, truthfulness must be tempered with kindness. Harsh truths delivered without compassion can cause harm and exacerbate conflicts. Divisive speech, or speech that creates discord among people, is another aspect to avoid. In challenging interactions, it is easy to fall into the trap of gossiping or speaking ill of others to gain sympathy or support. However, such actions only serve to deepen divisions and perpetuate negativity. Instead, right speech encourages us to use our words to promote unity and reconciliation. By focusing on common ground and shared values, we can bridge gaps and foster a sense of community, even with those we find difficult. Harsh words can inflict deep emotional wounds and escalate tensions. Practicing gentle speech means choosing words that are kind and considerate, even when addressing issues or expressing disagreement. This does not mean avoiding difficult conversations, but rather approaching them with empathy and a genuine desire for resolution. Gentle speech can disarm defensiveness and open the door to constructive dialogue. Idle chatter or frivolous talk may seem harmless, but it can distract from meaningful communication and waste valuable time. In interactions with difficult people, Staying focused on relevant topics helps maintain clarity and purpose. By being mindful of our speech, we ensure that our conversations are productive and aligned with our intentions. The power of right speech lies in its ability to transform our interactions by fostering an environment of trust, respect, and understanding. When we speak mindfully, we not only reduce the potential for conflict, but also create opportunities for deeper connection and growth. In this way, right speech becomes a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of human relationships with wisdom and compassion. By integrating the principles of right speech into our daily lives, we cultivate a habit of mindful communication that extends beyond individual interactions. It influences the overall tone of our relationships and contributes to a more harmonious social environment. As we practice right speech consistently, we become more adept at handling difficult situations with grace and equanimity, ultimately leading to more fulfilling and peaceful connections with others. Cultivating equanimity, or upekkha, is a central practice in Buddhism that enables individuals to maintain mental calmness and composure, especially in the face of adversity. Equanimity is one of the four sublime states, Brahma-viharas, and represents a balanced state of mind that is undisturbed by external circumstances. In dealing with difficult people, equanimity allows us to remain centered and not be swayed by emotional turbulence. This practice is not about indifference or apathy. Rather, it is about maintaining a sense of inner peace and stability, regardless of the actions or behaviors of others. The cultivation of equanimity begins with the understanding that all beings are subject to their own karma and life circumstances. Recognizing this helps us to see that the actions of difficult people are often a reflection of their own suffering and conditioning. By acknowledging this, we can develop a sense of compassion and empathy while maintaining our own emotional balance. Equanimity involves accepting that we cannot control others' actions, but we can control our responses to them. Mindfulness, sati, plays a crucial role in developing equanimity. By being fully present in each moment, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. This awareness allows us to respond to difficult situations with clarity and wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. Through regular mindfulness practice, we can train our minds to remain calm and composed even when faced with challenging interactions. Another important aspect of cultivating equanimity is letting go of attachment to outcomes. Often, our distress in dealing with difficult people arises from our desire for them to change or behave in a certain way. By releasing these attachments, we free ourselves from the frustration and disappointment that come from unmet expectations. This does not mean we become passive or accept harmful behavior. Rather, it means we approach situations with a sense of openness and flexibility, allowing us to respond more skillfully. Meditation practices specifically focused on equanimity can also be beneficial. These practices often involve reflecting on phrases such as, "All beings are the owners of their actions," or "May I learn to accept things as they are." By regularly engaging in such meditations, we reinforce our ability to maintain balance and perspective in the face of adversity. In summary, cultivating equanimity involves developing a balanced state of mind that remains steady amidst life's challenges. It requires mindfulness, compassion, and the willingness to let go of attachments. Through these practices, we can navigate difficult relationships with grace and resilience, ultimately fostering a more harmonious and peaceful existence for ourselves and those around us. In the rich tapestry of Buddhist teachings, numerous stories and real-life examples illustrate how to deal with difficult people through the principles of compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom. One of the most famous stories is that of Angulimala, a ruthless bandit who had killed many people. When he encountered the Buddha, instead of responding with fear or anger, the Buddha approached him with calmness and compassion. The Buddha's unwavering kindness and wisdom led Angulimala to renounce his violent ways and become a devoted monk. This story exemplifies how even the most challenging individuals can transform when met with understanding and compassion. Another poignant example is found in the life of the Buddha himself. Throughout his journey, he encountered numerous adversaries who sought to undermine his teachings. Devadatta, a cousin of the Buddha, repeatedly tried to create schisms within the monastic community, and even attempted to kill the Buddha on several occasions. Despite these actions, the Buddha responded with patience and equanimity, never harboring ill will towards Devadatta. This demonstrates the power of maintaining inner peace and compassion in the face of hostility. The story of Kisagotami offers another valuable lesson. Kisagotami was a woman who lost her only child and was overcome with grief. In her desperation, she sought help from the Buddha, who instructed her to find a mustard seed from a household that had not experienced death. After visiting many homes and realizing that death was a universal experience, she returned to the Buddha enlightened about the nature of suffering. This story highlights how understanding the universality of suffering can foster empathy and reduce animosity towards others. In modern times, Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Vietnamese Zen master, has shared numerous personal anecdotes about dealing with difficult people during his efforts for peace during the Vietnam War. Despite facing immense opposition and danger, Thich Nhat Hanh consistently advocated for nonviolence and compassion towards all parties involved. His teachings emphasize that seeing others as fellow human beings who also suffer can dissolve feelings of enmity and foster reconciliation. These stories from Buddhist teachings serve as powerful reminders that dealing with difficult people is an opportunity for personal growth and spiritual development. By embodying principles such as compassion, patience, and mindfulness, we can transform our interactions and contribute to a more harmonious world. Dealing with difficult people can be a significant challenge, but Buddhism offers practical exercises and meditations to help cultivate a more harmonious and compassionate approach. One of the most effective practices is metta bhavana, or loving kindness meditation. This meditation involves generating feelings of goodwill and compassion towards oneself and gradually extending these feelings to others, including those who are difficult. Begin by finding a quiet place to sit comfortably. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Start by focusing on yourself, silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease." Once you feel a sense of loving kindness towards yourself, extend these wishes to someone you love, then to a neutral person, and finally to the difficult person. This practice helps soften the heart and reduces feelings of animosity. Another useful exercise is mindfulness meditation, vipassana. This practice involves observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When dealing with a difficult person, it's easy to become reactive. Mindfulness helps create a space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose a more skillful reaction. Sit in a comfortable position and focus on your breath. As thoughts and emotions arise, simply observe them without getting caught up in them. Notice any feelings of anger or frustration that come up when you think about the difficult person. Acknowledge these feelings and let them pass without clinging to them. The practice of Tonglen, or sending and taking meditation, can also be beneficial. This Tibetan Buddhist practice involves visualizing taking in the suffering of others on your in-breath and sending out relief and happiness on your out-breath. To practice Tonglen, sit comfortably and breathe naturally. As you inhale, imagine breathing in the pain and suffering of the difficult person. As you exhale, visualize sending them peace, joy, and relief from their suffering. This practice helps develop empathy and compassion by transforming negative emotions into positive ones. Engaging in reflective journaling can also aid in dealing with difficult people. Set aside time each day to write about your interactions with challenging individuals. Reflect on what triggered your emotions and how you responded. Consider how Buddhist principles like compassion, mindfulness, and non-attachment could have been applied in those situations. This exercise helps increase self-awareness and provides insights into how you can handle future interactions more skillfully. Incorporating walking meditation into your routine can also be helpful. Walking meditation involves paying close attention to the physical sensations of walking while maintaining a mindful awareness of your surroundings. Choose a quiet place where you can walk slowly without distractions. Focus on the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the movement of your legs, and the rhythm of your breath. As thoughts about the difficult person arise, acknowledge them without judgment. and gently bring your focus back to the act of walking. Lastly, practicing gratitude can shift your perspective towards difficult people. Each day, take a moment to reflect on something positive about the challenging individual or the situation you're facing with them. It could be an opportunity for personal growth or a lesson learned. Expressing gratitude helps reframe negative experiences in a more positive light. By integrating these practical exercises and meditations into your daily life, you can develop greater resilience, compassion, and equanimity when dealing with difficult people. These practices not only benefit your own well-being, but also contribute to creating more harmonious relationships with others. In conclusion, the Buddhist approach to dealing with difficult people is deeply rooted in the principles and teachings that emphasize compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom. By understanding the nature of suffering, dukkha, and recognizing that everyone experiences it, we can cultivate a sense of empathy towards those who challenge us. The practice of loving kindness, metta, encourages us to extend goodwill even to those who may not reciprocate it, fostering a more harmonious and peaceful interaction. Compassion, karuna, plays a crucial role in transforming our perspective towards difficult individuals. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we learn to see their actions as manifestations of their own suffering. This shift in perception allows us to respond with patience, khanti, and tolerance, rather than escalating conflict. Mindfulness, sati, helps us stay present and aware in our interactions, enabling us to choose our responses wisely rather than reacting impulsively. The Four Noble Truths provide a framework for understanding the root causes of conflict and suffering, guiding us towards more constructive solutions. The Eightfold Path offers practical steps for cultivating ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom in our relationships. By practicing right speech, samavaka, we can communicate more effectively and reduce misunderstandings. Non-attachment, upadana, teaches us to let go of negative emotions and not cling to grievances, while equanimity, upekkha, helps us maintain inner balance amidst external turmoil. Real-life examples from Buddhist teachings illustrate how these principles can be applied in everyday situations, offering inspiration and guidance. Practical exercises and meditations further support our efforts to deal with difficult people by fostering inner peace and resilience. Ultimately, the Buddhist approach encourages us to transform our own minds and hearts, leading to more compassionate and harmonious interactions with others. By integrating these teachings into our lives, we not only improve our relationships, but also contribute to a more peaceful and understanding world. To keep expanding your spiritual awareness, click one of the videos on screen now.